good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Creative Characters interview series. I will be your GM this evening, the Ravenous Harkon. We're going to be looking at Dune tonight with a special guest. It was first written by Frank Herbert in 1965. In total, he wrote 6 books, with even more written by his son Brian Patrick Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, who is of Star Wars fame. If you remember the old books, it won a Hugo Award in 1966. It first graced cinemas in 1984 by director David Lynch. Which, if you've seen that movie, I apologize. It's probably time to check your prostate. It is a fever dream. It has later been produced into a series in 2000 that I think lit the match for the most recent revival by Denis Villeneuve, which is the trilogy that has been released in 2021, 2024, and now this year. In anticipation of the 2021 release, Modifius published the Dune Adventures in the Imperium role-playing game under the sub-license provided by Gale Force 9. And tonight we get to introduce Dune to channel staple Chad. Hello, sir.
Hello.
First question is always the same. Have you ever played or run this game before?
No, it has unfortunately sat on my shelf for far too long.
I love hearing that because that means we're gonna have a good old time. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time, and a lot of these questions I don't think I actually know about you.
It's impressive considering how much we've talked.
Yeah, but what was the first game you remember playing on your journey into the hobby, and do you still play it today?
If I recall correctly, the first game I ever played would have been in 9th grade, and a random friend that I remember his name only barely, a kid named Eric. None of the Erics I currently know, just a random kid that I lost contact with shortly thereafter. It was AD&D 2nd edition, and we were trying to go through Undermountain. He could not get me to Undermountain because we all kept dying.
Yep.
before we ever got to Undermountain, but yeah.
Yeah, the McStabber Studios is doing a Advanced Dungeons and Dragons series, and the couple of games that I've heard about their test runs, people have died to frogs, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm glad I missed that train. Though you don't play AD&D anymore, do you?
No, it's been a very long time. Thaco is the enemy of all things, and I will, if I can avoid it, I will.
Okay.
But I do have, just to show people who have not seen it, this is actually
Oh,
the original one that I had.
yeah.
It's actually remarkably good condition.
No, it is. It really is. I have
Because I am just surprised that it's still in this
Yeah.
good condition.
No, I mean I've seen the way you treasure your collections of things. It's like a fucking dragon's hoard. So I know if it's worn, it was either given to you that way or you have ran it through its paces. I have a copy of the first edition Dungeons and Dragons book and the AD&D book
Oh,
that were secondhand given to me. They don't look anything as nice as that.
I don't think there's very few copies left of those that are at all in any good kind of good condition.
Yep.
But yeah, especially because they were all paperback, right? All those editions, the first.
No, I have for my first edition is hardback.
Okay.
So it might be a reprint afterwards, but I think if the first editions were paperback, I don't have those.
I was probably thinking more of the red book and the blue book. That stuff.
Yeah, from the box.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So we have your little social media moniker as Xanaficus. How did you get that? Where is that from? Because I know you love Dragonlance and all the bullshit associated with it. Is that one of those characters?
no, though for a long time I went by Raceland 13, but
Mm.
that kind of got derivative after a while, just because I wanted my own name, and there was too many. You could never find it on, like, you would join a game and Raceland 13 would always be taken, so I had to put like Raced II N 1 3. It was just silly. So I basically went for something that was unique that I knew would almost. I've never run into a game that was. I don't think I've ever run into a game where I've plugged in an Aficus and not been told that that's okay, like that it was already taken or whatever.
Mhm.
So basically, if I remember correctly, it was a Latin term for if you take the Z out and put a V, it's a venaficus.
Mm.
It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that I got that from. It's basically a twisting or bastardization of the Latin word for wizard,
Okay.
or one of the many Latin words for sorcerer or wizard. Oh, I should
Okay.
say.
I like it.
So
Why?
I just ripped out the Z, V the Z, and sounded okay. Though most people start off with going Zena, Zenaf,
Yeah.
Zenavi.
Yeah. Um, why is the 13 important to Raceland? Like, I haven't read any of the Dragonlance books. I know that
Oh,
you've tried to. Okay. So
it's
you
not to Raceland. It's to me because I was a try-hard goth '90s kid, and 13 was the unlucky number, so therefore I had to claim it as my own.
right. Right.
Um,
Okay. That makes more sense. um I always start character creations with like coming up with a character name. Like I because of that's how you introduce yourself. That's to me coming from theater. Like I'm always given a character name when I'm trying to come up with a character, so that's just it's a natural fit for me. Where do you start when you're coming up with a character to play, especially given a setting like so rich like Dune?
so usually I try to narrow it down to like if I'm playing, if there's a common name or a theme running through their names of a house, for instance, in Dune, or if like elves in the southern region of Forgotten Realms, if you're really good, darkly nerdy or deeply nerdy,
Mhm.
or drow names or whatever. Just like see what's common, and then if I can twist it around somehow, to do my own take on it, and then kind of just go with there. But yeah, I try to narrow it down to at least a general culture, or a house or a clan or something
Okay.
if they have it. Like the clans and vampire are so scattered and random that doesn't you can't do that. But
Yeah. One of the things that you did point out to me was that your Modifius is fantastic for doing this. I wish more companies did it. But if you buy a physical copy of the book, you get a digital copy of it. Uh,
best practice.
and you told me that when you cracked open the Dune book, that your code still worked, which is fucking fantastic to hear.
Yeah, because
Uh,
I bought it the week of release, which you said was what 2021.
2021,
So 5 years later, still good.
5 years later.
That's good company practice. I
Yeah.
wish more did that.
Um, are you going to be using the physical book, or are you going to be using the PDF, or a combination of the two?
I'll use the physical since I got it.
Okay. So go ahead and go to page 109 or 113. We're going to be looking at the concepts first. The book gives you a list of 5 that kind of give you a lot of your choices picked for you so that you kind of hit the ground running. It's a Bene Gesserit sister, a Fremen, a Mentat, a Spacing Guild agent, or a Sook doctor. But there's also archetypes that you can play on page 113 that kind of like are broader in a sense, but you'll have to do more of the heavy lifting as far as choices are concerned. Um, and when you're looking at that, I've seen you play your fair share of wild and exotic character types in the time that we've known each other. From being a high school student in advanced placement classes to your undergrad time at one of the most notorious party schools in our state. Where did your path solidify for you? When did the concept of you becoming a lawyer get set in stone for you?
Like actually, when I decided, probably right when I was getting into law schools. Um, Basically, I tried to go. Well, I did do a degree in undergrad psychology. I
Mhm.
wanted to do that. I had a minor in economics. Um, though I didn't get to finish that because UF kind of screwed me out of a class because they didn't offer it the last semester I was there,
Mhm.
and I would have had to stay a whole another year to get it. And I was like, nope, I'm good. So I mostly minored in it, or I'm sorry, would have got the second degree in economics, and so therefore I had to minor in it anyway. Uh, the So I wanted to do. There was this. A lot of colleges still offer it to this day a dual psychology JD program.
Mhm.
And to me, the JD part, which is the law part, was more secondary because I really liked social psychology, which is the study of people in groups, and group behavior and group how groups think together and what you can and cannot do. The old, if you anybody knows it, the Milgram experiment with the prisoners,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. That was all social experiment. Obviously, try not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Um, but just the people in groups always fascinated me. The individual does, but to actually sit there and listen to people on the couch or whatever was never going to be my thing. Conducting experiments on people in groups, that would
Yeah.
be more my thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, they're gonna pay me to mess with people's heads and write down the results. That sounds amazing. Especially again back in my try hard, aggressive early teens and
No.
early 20s. Um, and so whatever, but for whatever reason at that time, that would have been 2003. Um, I did not get accepted into psychology schools, even though I had straight A's in the subject matter.
Yeah.
And I kept getting into law schools. And from what my advisor was telling me at the time, I may have been trying to make me feel better. I don't know, but a lot of schools were getting their budgets cut across the country because it's like not the greatest economic moment at that time.
Yeah.
And so they were taking a lot less grad students at that particular moment. But law schools are always accepting because law schools are not like normal schools. You always have to pay. Um, and so I got into that. Honestly, didn't take any of them at first because oh, I'm sorry, I got into UF law, but my wife, Dr. Valdez, got into Cornell's vet school, and since I didn't get into anything I really wanted, I was like, well, I guess we're going to Ithaca. Um, and so I followed her, and then once I was up there, after a year of thinking about it, I really decided to go full bore into the law, since that seemed to be what I was getting into anyway.
Hmm.
My mother tried to kind of warn me about it, saying that, "Oh, you want to wake up early and go to court in a suit? That seems not like you."
Hmm.
Uh, I'm
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, but I get to argue." Oh, but there were benefits and cons. But yeah. So anyway, I ended up doing that, and then the rest is kind of history. It was a grueling experience, definitely way harder than undergrad. And kind of once you go down that road, there's not a lot of once you've even taken a year or two of law school, you either need to go forward or accept the fact that you're going to have a huge student loan debt with not a job to show for it.
Yep.
Um, but I was into it. It's only been recently in the last few years where I've been like, meh, I like law, but it's kind of gotten repetitive in a lot of ways.
Mm.
If you stay in the same, which is not, it's like any job, you get the same kind of cases, the same kind of whatever. And I was just kind of sick of that level of grind. And so when my uh, wife decided to open up her own hospital, I pretty much was like, between that and my newborn, or I guess newborn at that time, Leia, my daughter, pretty much became a stay-at-home dad, and now I work with the hospital to do all their legal stuff, and inventory and logistics and all that.
Okay. So, did you get a chance to think about your character while you were giving me that answer?
A little bit, yep,
Okay. Okay. Because that's the gist of the show. It's kind of like Hot Ones, but with dice instead of chicken wings. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to balance.
absolutely,
You got to do several things at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, no problem.
Um,
So I liked the God, what was the name? So there's so I don't go looking for it forever. The uh, Swordmasters Guild. I know it's
okay.
not one of the archetypes, but that appealed to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. So you can. I believe that one of the what's it called? The Isn't there what kind of sword master do you think you would want to be? Do you want to be more of a duelist? Do you want to be more of a protector?
I
Uh,
was thinking protector. Yeah,
okay.
like a I don't want to say paladin because that's not the right word, but like a yeah, bodyguard.
Mm,
Your right hand, someone's right hand man. You
sure.
know,
Okay. So going off of the protector archetype that they give you there, the primary skill for you is going to be discipline, and the secondary skill is going to be battle. Um, Going back, just make a note of what they are because we'll put points in uh, when we get there. Um, we've never had to because we started playing before consent forms, and when you would walk into game stores and point at people, be like, "Who's this asshole?"
What are
Um,
you talking about?
yep. But given the rise and popularity of the consent form and session zeros, uh, that should take place before games start, what are some red flags that have tipped you off that a table might not be a good fit for you? And what are some of the green flags that you look for to kind of that resonate with you that this is going to be a fun game?
Honestly, not too many red flags. Because I generally tend to, especially if I'm in a gaming mode, I tend to become a lot more patient.
Mhm.
Because I want to see what everybody's bringing, and just because they're showing one thing doesn't mean that's what they're doing. And depending on the game, of course. But as far as red flags, I guess if somebody's just super in a bad mood or openly hostile or worse, bored because there's somebody's significant other and kind of been dragged into the game. That was a unfortunate amount of people when we were growing up.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
we kind of roped our significant others in whether they wanted to or not. Um, and so that tends to ruin games if somebody's there who doesn't want to be there. Um, you hope they get into it, but that's usually not the case.
Yeah.
Other than that, I guess if somebody constantly is interrupting the DM when they shouldn't be, that's like obviously you have a right to talk when your character should be talking or whatever, or you have something to say,
Mhm.
but like not letting the game master get on with it, or same thing with another player if they're like in the middle of their thing and you're just, I have to be the scene stealer.
Yeah.
um it's all about me, 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 and I cannot say that I have not done that, especially when I was younger. I was very me, 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 me at first. But the you get over that as you get older, and also if you want to play with others, because it does tend to drive people away. um but anyway, as far as green flags, creativity
Mhm.
obviously is a huge one. Just a good sense of humor, and willingness to see where stuff goes.
Okay.
um like, I like to see where I'm usually the one who doesn't like to sit in silence. So if the game master goes, what do you do or what do you want to do, I try to come up with something relatively quickly.
Mhm.
'Cause I just don't like leaving the dungeon master to hang, because yeah, the dungeon master can tell us the story on rails, but it's funner if we help guide it.
Yeah.
um and the so if somebody's asking and not moving, like that, hoping they do. Um and so that always helps, and some people have taken in some super interesting directions, and other times we just die, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
part of the process.
It's very true. We're going to be looking at skills and focuses. So, the primary skill given to you by your protector is going to start at a 6. Your secondary is going to start at a 5, and the rest of your skills are going to start at a 4. um, there are a couple of pages worth of examples of focuses because you get 4 to fill out
Okay.
for your skills, and while you're thinking about which ones to grab for yourself. Um, with the wide array of projects that you've thrown yourself into, from becoming a father to starting a veterinary business with your wife, where have your skills and focuses shined brightest in your daily life, do you think?
Like in relation from like what I've learned in role playing,
Well,
or
in life in general, like from law school, psychology, like how what do you think you've honed?
hmm. Well, I've long worked on my patience, because that was definitely a flaw of mine.
Yep.
Is a flaw of mine still. But it is a lot better, as you know.
Hmm.
Um, and how to put it? I try to look into using psychology and whatever that I learned, and law taught me a lot about the analytical nature. I was always kind of science minded to start with, so like I like the analytical thought
Hmm.
process. But law really beats you into thinking like A equals B equals C. Try to get make sure you cross every I, dot out every T, and doing that helps me kind of keep things in order as much as possible, and is a good fallback. If you like stuff goes wildly out of control, like okay, I can solve this one problem at a time. Blah blah blah. And it honestly, the random stuff that I've done throughout my life, for the most part, has taught me that the how to put it, there's always fun to be had, even if the times suck at the current moment.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's always something cool next, and that was one of the things that I've always been just around the corner. Generally, something is at least interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's one of the things that I've been trying to hone in myself and pass on to my kids, that just because the moment sucks or that you have to do something that you don't like, that could lead to the next moment, which is awesome.
Hmm.
Because listen, I mean, look, when we met, I walked into the game store that day never knowing you, and then
Yep.
you randomly show up at my table, and I was mean, and you still like wanted to be my friend.
I don't know if I
So,
wanted to be your friend right there and then, but I mean, like
well, not right there and then. I would have been shocked if you were right there and then.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
for
I like this guy. He's yelling at me.
yeah, that would have I would have had to like really think about things. Uh-oh.
But yeah, it was an interesting. It's been an interesting run. Um,
Hmm.
Honestly, I wish I wanted to go as long as possible. But the yeah, it's just been an interesting. Psychology shows you a bunch of insights. Parenthood actually has taught me a whole nother level of patience, um, and how to reconnect to like the child mind, or like
Hmm.
how to think like a kid, which obviously helps kind of in role playing too, because your mind kind of gets a little inflexible, and the kids show you how inflexible you've gotten, and you're like, oh right, what am I doing? Um, and that's one of the reasons why, like we've talked about in prior talks. Uh, my main characters throughout the years were like sorcerers and dark wizards and vampires and whatever, blah blah blah. Which is why in the more recent years I've been trying different classes, different concepts, because the kids kind of drive me to that, to try out new things,
Yeah.
and not just be like, this is my way, and you know, don't need to try anything else.
Protector gives you um two options to use for your focuses.
Okay.
One is resolve for discipline, and the other one is self control in battle. Uh, Not mandatory for you to take, but they are definitely examples of focuses that could fit your character. What are
I
you
like it.
looking what are you looking for as far as the character is concerned? How do you see him?
So I see him as having like risen through the ranks, of like the house guard, or I guess the normal soldiery first, and then kind of showing promise and becoming kind of like an apprentice to the house guard somehow,
Mhm.
um, whether it be a noble or a larger house. But and that basically through loyalty and devotion, whether that'll be good or not in the long run, we'll see. Um, is he's risen to the ranks and become, at least, I don't want to just assume automatically, but one of the scions of the house's protectors, and then uh, kind of the right hand man.
Okay,
Um,
that works. Mm. What are you gonna go with? Where do you think you're gonna put your focuses?
I like resolve. That's a good one.
Okay, for discipline.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put it in for you. You got three left.
Okay. Um,
They can be in any of your skills too. Like they don't need to be in your primary and secondary. Like the um the cool thing about the Modiphius system is that you every roll starts off with two d20s, and you can build your way up to five d20s. Uh,
okay.
but what it is that you're rolling to see how many successes you can score, and a
Mhm.
success is meeting the target number or lower. What a focus
Okay.
does, though, is if you roll equal to or lower than the skill that it's attached to, that's a critical success.
Okay. I get
So, given
it.
that the
Okay.
resolve is in discipline, if you had rolled a 6 or lower on a discipline roll, that would count as a critical success.
Gotcha. And then battle was a primary skill, right?
A secondary skill.
Secondary skill. Secondary skill.
Yeah. Yeah, and the option they give you there is self-control,
Yeah.
which is not terrible.
Let's see. How would move? Obviously, you need to move if you're going to be a fighter.
Right?
Um, hold on, my son is calling. 1 second.
Oh,
Sorry.
it's daddy time. Look at him laying down the law.
Yeah.
Man, it's my time. Get out of here, kid.
Yeah, Anne's got him, so luckily I don't have to pay attention. Um,
Just like an
so,
80s dad right there.
right, the wife's got him. I don't have to pay
Yeah.
attention. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
How about passive scrutiny? That looks good.
For
To
what?
be able to tell for another skill. Did you say I get 4? Or did I
Yeah,
miss
but
that?
for which skill? Which skill do you want it to go under?
Oh, I see. Discipline.
Another discipline?
Another discipline.
Okay. You said passive scrutiny.
Yeah, yeah. Keep an eye out on people.
Okay.
And then
You got 2 choices left.
I like no, that's a focus. Ultimately, where someone's right-handed man, guess I should be able to talk to people, so communicate, and I guess that'll go also under discipline. It doesn't make sense for battle, right? Oh no, it does. I could do that because it'd be yes.
Well, there is a communicate skill, so you could put a
Oh right,
focus.
okay.
Yeah, you could put a focus on uh, upper class.
Right.
You got one more focus.
A command.
Oh, is that under battle or communicate?
With the
Battle.
better.
Okay, commanding. I like it. Um, so, given your history with the hobby, where do you think you are most comfortable at the table? Do you have a preference for either being a player or for running the game? Like, where do you think you're going to have the most fun when it comes
Player.
to yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Only because I do not have the time to regularly DM. I do like DMing. It has been a great amount of fun.
Mhm.
I've run more than a few campaigns over the years. I used to DM at local cons and then Gen Con for when Living Greyhawk was around
Yeah.
and Living Force and stuff like that. So that also helped get me into Gen Con because I definitely could not have afforded it at the time.
Yep.
Plus the place to stay, uh, and lovely little goodies like books and stuff.
Mhm.
Um,
100%.
but so that was definitely worth it. So we played I ran a ton of games just in those days. But that was also still during college, so as hard as college was at certain points, you definitely had more free time. It felt like than you do in the rest of your life.
I uh
Um,
I tell people when they ask me about like how do you know like how do you read the room when it comes to gaming and how do you pivot because of the game that you wrote uh for Tree, where like I showed up not knowing what kind of game it was going to be, and I had a 2-page backstory for my paladin, and I was like, I have this vision of him being this war-bound tragic hero that has to carry the weight of like the lost soldiers with him. Uh and so I had this classic D&D name of Ulthrich Vax.
Very
And
strong.
yeah. And then Tree shows up. And she's like, I've never done this before. My character's name is Princess Sparklebutt. And I was like, oh, that's the game we're playing. And I just ripped up the 2-page story and I was like, you can call me Fridge then.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a fun game.
yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, Tree could definitely be a force for chaos when she wants to be.
Mhm.
And
100%.
she definitely threw. I went in there. I think that game in particular. Yeah, I wrote that. Wasn't I did Strahd, or I was doing Ravenloft or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I went in thinking it was a horror game, and yes, Princess Sparklebutt shows up.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be horror, but it's gonna be funny horror. Oh,
Transylvania 65000.
yeah. So
Uh,
yeah, we're in what is it? What's his name? Dale and Earl fight evil or whatever that movie
yep.
is.
Yep. Yep. Uh, go ahead and go to page 127. We're gonna be looking at talents next for character creation. You're gonna get 3 of them. Uh, your protector is gonna give you another example of one that you could choose an option, which is bolster. Uh, and while you're reading them, out of the laundry list of characters that you've gotten to play in all your years, if you could pick one singular talent from any one of them, what would it be and why that one in particular?
I mean, I'm gonna cheat and say magic. Um,
I mean, yeah,
uh, so wizards have always
yeah.
been my favorite.
Which edition of Magic? Because they're all very different.
True. Third edition
Okay,
for D&D. Yeah, yeah.
not what I expected, but okay. And why?
Um, Basically because of the flexibility you get, or rather the breadth, not the flexibility is the wrong word. Of the stuff that you can do. Um, I think I know where you meant. I think I was going to go. Mage is another great magic system, of course. But
Yeah, yeah.
uh, I don't like paradox. And as a D&D wizard, you don't get paradox.
You don't get
Uh,
paradox.
so that's one of the reasons why I would choose that one over Rage. But yeah, I mean, I've always loved the idea of throwing meteors down and
Mm-hmm.
teleporting wherever you wanted to go,
Yeah,
polymorphing your enemies into pods,
yeah.
and
Setting an atmosphere on fire. Classic,
setting an atmosphere on fire. Whatever.
classic. That old
With a little
chestnut.
atmospheres between friends.
Yeah, that old chestnut that was in one of those books about Raceland and his 13 dragons.
Yep, absolutely. That was 100% canon.
Yeah, yeah, I believe it.
I talked to Margaret Weiss about it herself.
Hmm.
Oh.
Um, so yeah, so you get it gives you the option of taking bolster, but you can choose whatever 3 talents you actually want for yourself.
Okay. I will take bolster because that does fit.
Okay,
I like binding promise.
okay.
Um, and now I've got to decide because that last one. Hmm.
It's there's some great fucking talents in the game. Um, you can come out of the gate like swinging hard as like a one trick pony if you really wanted to, but I think that sometimes you really want to um balance yourself out because if you if you set out to play a Bene Gesserit like a sister, you can
Mhm.
come out of the gate like starting character powerful fucking voice control and just be
Well,
like,
that was tempting. That was one of my top 3 choices.
"Mhm, of course it
Oh,
is. I know you."
The second one, oddly enough, Mentat was appealing. I like the
Oh,
idea of Mentat. That was the other one.
I can
But
see you playing that.
Swordmaster was ringing in my head a lot,
I think Mentat would be too close to your lawyer background.
probably. A little too real world.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, how is so I was thinking with the what I got to fight someone is to know them.
Okay.
Very Matrix.
Yeah. True. Okay. Okay. Um, so what has been your favorite genre of the hobby to explore as a gamer, as either as a storyteller or as a player at the table? And what is a genre that you've wanted to explore that you haven't been able to like touch on or dive into like full bore? Like maybe you've gotten your toe wet, but you want to go, deep end into.
Right. So probably my favorite is horror, of all
Hmm.
shapes and sizes.
Hmm.
Uh, The World of Darkness being my favorite,
Yeah.
particularly vampire. But the fantasy being, a running real close second. Something that I have not had a lot of chance to play with is not sci-fi because we've done a ton of sci-fi, but like cyberpunky.
Mm,
Um, because I got to play maybe one game of Shadowrun, and that died super fast. So, and I've never like the Cyberpunk game role playing game I know is out, like Cyberpunk Red, I think.
yeah.
Um, and I've always that looked cool. I actually again another book I have sitting on my shelf that I have not read.
Hmm.
Uh, and that kind of stuff that would be pretty neat genre to play in. Um, I think because there's a lot of fun themes to explore.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously the tech makes everything wild.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, and obviously, and then you have sci-fi fantasy stuff like Shadowrun, where you mix tech and sorcery and all kinds of fun stuff, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with cyberpunk stuff.
100%.
Um, so that would probably be the one that I would like to explore a little bit more that I haven't gotten a chance to. Um, Other than that, I've really had a good breadth of different things because every DM kind of go that I've had is for any length of time has always done something different from one game to the next.
Mm,
Um, and you yourself have shown me a bunch of different genres. Um, and yeah, it's been interesting, and it's even more interesting, or rather, not more interesting, but something that I didn't think used to pique my interest was the dice light systems, where it was
okay.
a lot more of and then, or like you rolled a single d6, and depending on what you got was that's it. Like you either did really well, awesome, or you suck. So like, and then but then you tell the story of what happened,
Yeah.
whether you sucked about it or not, and you just kind of do a lot of games kind of do the round robin-y style. um
Mhm.
and that was interesting because I'm so been rules crunchy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the play that I've done, I ran into a group that really liked doing the rules light system, and it kind of caught a lit a fire under my brain.
Okay.
um, and to do, especially to play with. I love playing with those guys. I haven't played with them in a while, unfortunately, but it was a ton of fun. I used to forego a ton of stuff at MegaCon just to play with that specific table of guys and girls.
Okay.
Fun.
I will say that I'm glad to hear that because one of the reasons uh that I did not choose you for the first run of Wanderhome is because there are no rules. There are no dice rolls. The diceless system, and I was like, he's not gonna like this. But hearing that you're entertaining them, I think the next round of Wanderhome you'll definitely be on the cast of that.
That'd be cool.
Uh,
I've heard good things. So,
I love Wanderhome. It definitely has had an impact in my DMing style. Um, yeah, with all the games that you've played and been a part of, like Gen Con and these major like conventions, what have you seen makes a good game great, and what have you seen that makes a mediocre game terrible? Like what are the hallmarks that you've witnessed from your perspective?
I think what makes a good game great is buy-in. Like when everybody's super into the story. It doesn't matter what story. You could have, Cthulhu Rising. You're doing political games in Vampire. Whatever, pick your,
Mhm.
your story. As long as everybody's into it, even if the story was mid, that alone brings it up a notch and makes it memorable.
Yep.
Like, I'll tell a story from us. Like,
Mhm.
how many comedic moments did we have in Star Wars with El Jedi, that really weren't anything in particular by themselves, but given that the whole group was buying into that particular moment, like just raised it a whole nother level.
Yep.
Um, and as far as what could take a bad story worse, or even a mid story bad,
Mhm.
um, usually it's kind of the opposite. When everybody's on their phones or on their computer and not really paying attention, nobody's really buying into the story. The DM is constantly having to go, "Hey, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do?" Or is just talking and no one's listening.
Yep.
Um, and I always hate being at those tables because I feel bad for the DM. Like, everybody's got a limited amount of time to do anything, and we're like, we all get out and get out of here. Why are we doing this to anybody?
Mhm.
Or why are people being like this? And to be fair, somebody could be having a bad day. I definitely have attended unfortunate bad decisions where I stayed up way too late for whatever reason or another, and then the game was at like 8 in the morning because it was on a con, and we're all like, "Ah." And so I probably wasn't on my best game there either. Um, but it's that would probably be my red flag is kind of the opposite of the good stuff. Because those games can make it bad. And I guess, when how to put it, another red flag would be when somebody's being overly rule lawyery, like, and I say that as a rule lawyer,
Mhm.
but to the point of like it makes the game unfun. Um, and like, not that again, I do like the rules, but the rule of cool is one of my has always been a more guiding factor than the books themselves. I mean, most books even will tell you like, hey man,
Yep.
these are just guidelines for the most part.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, strictly tactical speaking, whatever. Like, you're in the middle of a D&D game, critical could throw everybody off, whatever. Eh, I'll probably go with the critical just because I roll my dice in front of everybody if I'm a DM or whatever, and I'm
Mhm.
like, them's the breaks. But you can always spin it into something cool because nothing ever has to stay dead in D&D.
Mhm.
Um, and so whatever. But like by doing that, I'd be like, oh, you're all dead, and that's it. Get out of my table, peace. That would suck,
Yep.
right?
Yep. I always think failure is better for the game anyway than success.
It definitely yeah, leads to more interesting stories because if we always succeeded, the game
Mhm.
would be over in 10 minutes.
Yep. Yep. Um, we're gonna be looking at drives and drive statements.
Okay.
Uh, you have 5 drives: duty, faith, justice, power, and truth. And unlike your skills, you have to rank them from most important, which gets the highest number, which is 8, to the least important one, which gets a 4.
Okay, so 8 to 4.
Yeah, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. And then once you've set them up in your ranked order, we're gonna get to figure out uh, the top 3 have statements associated with them, because if you ever find yourself rolling against your statement, you can take a failure to gain a determination point. So it's a good way to get a little resource of the game while you're thinking about your ranks. Uh,
Okay.
you yourself are a driven individual, despite your laid back demeanor. You're always moving forward, from what I've seen. Is that something that you think you picked up from the frightening monster that we all know and love as your father, or is that something that your mother instilled in you? Which one do you think you take after the most, given the retrospective of you having mirrored their life growing up, because they had 2 children, you have 2 children, they're happily married, you're happily married. What is the takeaway that you have there?
Honestly, I think I'm more my mother than my father.
Mhm.
though more my father lately, as he is more. I think he's blossomed in retirement.
Mm.
Um, he's opened up a lot more. Not that he had his open moments for sure. He was never a totally like taciturn dude,
Mhm.
but he was just always working. And busy, and there was always something to do. So he has relentless drive.
He
Um,
does.
uh, he was one of those that does not know how to sit still, to his detriment lately.
Mm.
He had two knee surgeries in the last year, and both times he was supposed to sit the hell down
Mhm.
and stay there for like multiple weeks. And I think he lasted a week both times
Oh my god.
before he was up and doing stuff. Whereas me, I've been like, so I have to sit in my chair, play video games, watch TV,
Mhm.
whatever. Oh no. Oh.
Oh, the horror of it.
Oh, whereas he's like, he's like, he's basically driving himself mad by just sitting there.
Mhm.
He took it a bit better the second time, the second knee.
I
He
would hope
watched
so.
a ton of the movies I had. I gave him my Fandango thing account, and he went through a ton of my movies that I have lists of. Like Lord, he watched all the Lord of the Rings. He hasn't done that in forever. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, on and on and on.
Yeah.
But as the drive, I try to be like that. But I think I take more after my mother in general demeanor. Um, in that I've always been more social than he is. I'm honestly surprised he bothered to have a family, given my father's penchant for being a loner.
Mhm.
Um, don't get me wrong, he's very glad that he has us, but like I could see a trajectory where he didn't meet my mom or whatever, and he just was super happy being by himself for the rest of his life.
Yep.
He's just very content, like focused dude with who he is or whatever. At least I've noticed, because he'll go off and be like, "I'm gonna go work out for 10 hours, and I'll see you tomorrow" or something.
Yep.
There were definitely days where I didn't see, especially once I grew up and was mobile on my own, where I didn't see my dad for several days at a time because our schedules just didn't match, and I'll be like, "Is dad here?" Whatever. Um, and but anyway, he's always had yeah, I know, this overwhelming presence to him,
Mhm.
and apparently I've got a little bit of that, especially when we have resting bitch face. Apparently, um,
Yeah.
or resting, disapproval face, however you want to put it.
Yep. Disciplinarian
Um,
face.
yeah, and but my mom was definitely more social than I ever was. She was a popular, happy, shiny person. And I definitely was not that.
Mhm.
But one of the things the pandemic actually taught me about myself was how much I miss being around people, when I'd always considered myself more introverted than apparently I was.
Mm.
Um,
That's
so I've
interesting.
always considered myself with like an introvert with like extrovert tendencies,
Mhm.
and it's apparently very much the other way around, where I'm an extrovert with introverted tendencies.
Interesting.
Because I'm perfectly fine being on my own for a bit, but after a while, I want to reach out and hang out with friends
Yep.
or whatever. Where the concept of social batteries also come into my kind of lexicon in the past like 10, 15 years.
Yes.
And where I have friends who definitely have very limited social batteries. They're like, cool, I'm done. Love you, but I'm out.
Mhm.
Whereas I feel like I'm like an energy vampire. I pull energy from being with my friends and my loved ones.
Mhm.
Like
I've seen it.
thoroughly-
Yeah. There's been
so
there's been parties of yours where I'm just like, man, he has to be tired, and you come out with like a lampshade, crack open another Diet Coke, and I'm just like, oh no, he's going.
yeah, I mean, it's honestly one of the things that have always, I mean, sucks about parties is that they end, right? And then you're left with like a house that was previously full of life and laughter and whatever, and then you're just like silence. And now that's not a bad thing. It's like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
Oh,
Them's the
so, but yeah,
perks.
it's definitely, I guess, just a self delusion, or a misconcept in my brain that I probably, because again, like I'm gonna be a '90s goth, and I'm such a loner, and
Yeah.
um, screw the world, and
I
blah
have
blah.
a I have a katana in my trench coat. Yeah, we know the type.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. But my first vampire character definitely did not have a katana. Absolutely not.
Of course not.
Oh, anyway, yeah, the that was an interesting thing, and it definitely further cements the idea that I'm more like my mom than I thought I was. Um, and but both of their sense of humors are definitely reflected. They have very similar sense
Yes.
of humors. Um, uh, they've always sought out adventure. So they like to go on trips, and I very much enjoy vacations as well. I
Mhm.
mean, there's a limit. At a certain point, I feel like it's around 10 to 12 days, and I'm like, okay, I want to go home. Um, and those have been very few and far between in the last several years, so it's okay. But
Mhm.
the last time we went 2 years ago, actually got to go to Europe.
Nice.
And it was awesome. But by day 12, I was like, all right, can I have my bed back, please? Um,
Can I
so
have air conditioning, please?
yeah, actually, we were on a river ship, so we pretty
Oh,
much
okay.
didn't lack for AC. That was
Nice.
good. But there was definitely places during the day that we were like going in, and we would think we would have AC, but no, it's just sweltering hot.
No, no.
Uh,
So
but
what's the ranks here for your? How do you see your character ranking these 5 drives? What's
okay,
going to be the most
so
important for him?
top is duty, so
Okay,
8 for
8 for
duty,
duty.
7 is faith in my liege lord,
Okay,
as it were.
yeah.
Power would be 6 because I want to
Really?
become powerful enough to be a protector.
Okay,
And that means physical and political in this world, I'm sure.
that's true. That is true.
Um, Truth, because it does matter. Because if I don't know what's going on, even if the truth sucks,
Yeah.
then I cannot be a good protector. And justice matters less. Because I serve my lord, and he's got justice, whatever
He,
his justice matters.
yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting spread. I am I should say tickled that a lawyer put justice at the bottom of their drives, but I'm just
It's
like,
the character.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so you get to choose
But
or come up with however you want to do it there, because there's options. There's a couple of examples that they give you. I think on page 10 109,
yeah.
the for drive statements. Excuse me. But your 3 highest drives, which is going to be duty, faith, and power, all get a statement. Um, the the statement should be easy to understand, that you and I can both kind of agree on situations when it would come into application.
Right.
Uh, you will want to have at least one of them uh, pose a problem. You know, where it's not
Yes.
detrimental, but it is one of those things where it's like if it comes up, it's a hard choice. You know,
Right.
it's not a Sophie's choice where it's just like your your house is on fire. You can only grab one of your children. Who are you grabbing?
I
Uh,
mean,
you
Leia
know,
lift. Brandon can run. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Um, Even though I know for a fact that you would find a way to grab both of them.
Yeah. It definitely
They wouldn't make it easy for
um,
you,
no,
because
it wouldn't be easy, but the what I was getting at is I definitely feel like I was more selfish before them.
Mhm.
Like I had a large self interest drive. I don't want to say I was mean or anything about it because I did not like bullies or anything like that.
Right.
But the whatever, I had a lot of self interest going on, I guess.
Mhm. I
And
get
then
it.
becoming a father, definitely I can see myself throwing myself in front of the bear, running into the fire,
Mhm.
whatever. Those would happen. Um.
Yeah.
Anyway, the drive statements. Where is that? You said 109. I don't see them. Let's see. Oh, 106. Just to get an example, because otherwise
Okay.
I might spin it way too hard.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. No,
Okay.
I get it. Trust me. Yeah. So protectors are commonly chosen for the strong sense of duty, and many are instead driven by a powerful belief in justice. You are not the latter.
No. Um, I like what must be done
Okay, for which one?
for duty. For duty.
All right.
So, duties of sharp blade was another good one.
Yeah. Okay, so what must be done must be done.
Faith.
I like it.
Um,
Now you got faith, and then we got power.
so I like how it brings the machines in.
Yeah.
You know, things
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
not welcome in this world.
No, the
Um,
Tlaylocs who started the fucking Great War, man.
if only they had it.
If only.
Stupid AI machines, thinking machines.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
but that's not really relevant to my character, unfortunately. But I will go with those who doubt my faith will be proved wrong.
Ooh. Okay. I like it. Now we need one for power.
Let me see if I can.
While you're looking at them, because the statements are important to the character, they are what helps you gain determination. There are two resources in the game: momentum and determination. Uh, Momentum you get and can store up to 6 points. Anytime that you shift from a scene to another scene, though, you bleed off of momentum. So you won't have six the whole time unless you keep the pool uh, full. Determination, however, you can't really get unless your drive statements are involved in some way, shape, or form. Uh, Momentum lets you buy extra dice. So your first dice that you want to buy costs one momentum. Your second dice that you want to buy costs two more momentum. And then the third dice that you want to buy costs you three more momentum, eating up your whole six if you want to roll five dice for any roll.
Okay.
Uh, Determination, however, um, no matter how many dice you're rolling, if you spend a determination point, one of those dice is automatically set to one.
Hmm.
So it counts as a crit.
That's right, because the lower is better in this one, right?
Lower is better in this one.
Oh man, there's so many good power statements. I mean, if I was playing my typical character, it would definitely be the power to destroy a thing is the absolute control over it. That's more my speed.
Yeah.
But different character, different time.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, I like the power must be used wisely and cleverly.
Okay. Power must be used wisely and cleverly. Okay. So, um, when going through the process of character creation, like we just gone through, what is your preferred method of going through it? Like, do you want to bounce ideas off of a GM or storyteller like we've been doing? You want to walk through it on your own and kind of come in with a finished product and then adjust on the fly? Or is there some in between that you like? Like, what's your ideal scenario?
I kind of like in between, but it also depends on like if it's a system I know,
Mhm.
like particularly I don't know well, I can just I can make a D&D or a vampire character in less than 20 minutes. Um, really doesn't take that long once
Yeah.
you've done it 1,000 times. But the like something like this where I don't know the system, or I'm only I don't want to say tangentially familiar with the because I do know Dune, a lot of the at least the a deep era of Dune very
Mhm.
well. Um, the I do like the bouncing back and forth, but I'm also fine. Like if you hand me a rule book and tell me like character creation starts on page 101 and go from there, and then come back to me with a physical product or not a physical product, a product.
Mhm.
I would, and then we'll talk about it. That I like that too. I think I like that slightly more than bouncing off ideas because not that this is a bad process, but I do like to think like the whole thing through
Mhm.
more, I guess,
Mhm.
and then come at you with like, okay, this is what I kind of want to do. What do you think? And then we can kind of like you said, wrap it up or put the finishing touches there, or change something that doesn't necessarily go. 'Cause I've definitely had characters where I'm like, I want to do this, and they're like, yeah, but that would screw my entire campaign up, or you'll be put you in at odds with the rest of the player group.
Yeah.
So you were talking about session zero earlier. That is one of the things that I definitely have implemented more and more as time goes on, if time allows it,
Mhm.
and we're not just doing single shots, where you try to get the group together and at least try to have the characters figure out where they're not going to be auto oppositionally against each other, unless that's of course the point of the game.
Right.
Because I've definitely unintentionally like created a character, and person to my left and me are going to hate each other like just by dint of what we've created.
Mhm.
Um, So I did that with Shannon once, actually, my sister. Um, she created a druid loving, like I love all life and whatever, and I created a ranger that was basically kill all the goblins. Oh, because they killed my family.
Yeah.
And yeah, that put us in automatic opposition. Um, and I'm like, well, I wouldn't have picked that if I had known you were gonna pick that. Like I don't want to auto be in conflict. Not that conflict is bad, but this is like if you get in my way, I might have to kill you level of conflict,
Yeah.
and that is not good unless again the game calls for it, which is
Right.
a different story.
Right. Uh, so the last two things on your character that we get to go through for character creation are assets, which are explained on page 122, but go into greater detail in chapter 7. And you get to pick three assets, one of which must be tangible. It must be an actual thing. So that lets you know that some of these assets don't have to actually exist. It could be like a favor is an asset, a contact is an asset. And when you're thinking about what three assets you want your character to have, um, as someone that we've discussed, it has a diverse and curated collection of media from books to DVDs and such. If you had to get rid of all of your books and movies one day, what would be the three books and the three DVDs you would have to keep regardless of any repercussions, and why?
All right, nightmare scenario. Okay.
I warned you.
I like the idea of running into the burning fire after my children more than I like this idea.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah.
Anyway. Um. Just make sure I get it right. Test of the Twins, which is a Dragonlance book.
Okay.
Culmination of Raceland and his brother Caramon's story, and the sixth book in like the main run. It's one of my favorite stories. It shows the kind of culmination of Raceland's story and what he chooses to give up to not become the worst, not become the thing he most feared in the
Mhm.
process of becoming what he wanted to be.
Got it.
Um, uh, Second book would probably be
He's rough.
Homeland, which is Dritz's first book,
Mm,
in the, at least timeline. So I love that book.
okay.
It was a huge gateway into that, obviously into the character, but into that world in general.
Yeah.
Um, and uh,
Homeland is the one you had me read, right?
yeah, I
Okay.
probably I forced
Yeah.
Dragonlance and the initial Dritz trilogy on everybody back
Yeah.
then.
It wasn't terrible.
Um, And then gosh, there's so many good ones. But let's see if there's anything in this. There's a vampire book from the Masquerade when they were writing books more often. It's called
Hmm.
As One Dying. Um and it was really, really good. And it like really resonated a whole bunch, especially with my um vampire loving teenage early 20s self.
Yeah.
Um and that I've probably read that almost as many times as I've read Dragonlance.
Who does it focus on?
Honestly, I don't remember the name of the character. It has been a bit since I read it.
Is it one
But
of the canon characters, like the big names, like Theo
no,
Bell, or oh, okay.
no, it's a completely random character. Now I'm gonna. I just said how much it was, and now I can't remember the stupid character's name. Oh, hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
Hey, the internet.
Yeah. I'm
The
surprised you.
title comes from the I think it's the end of Romeo and Juliet. As one dying at the bottom of a tomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, uh,
I like that none of the books that you chose were any of the TTRPG books.
why? You don't need those. I already got it here.
Yeah, they're up here.
Oh, oh.
They're locked away.
So let's
Memorized big front to back.
see. Yeah, seriously. Um. Okay, so yeah, you have main characters. Yeah, it's Bianca, and then what's the other character's name? She's one of the ones that uh,
What clan is she from?
she is, I believe, Sabat. Oh, right, and that was the other. This is the other thing why they never touched on the story again. She was a Bruja Toreador hybrid, um,
Hmm.
which is completely
Bullshit.
not
Yeah.
a thing in the game.
So
She was
KP.
yeah, she was yeah, basically. And she was the Inconnu Monitor of Toronto. Um, and then she's basically like half leading them to Savat stuff and trying to, but also trying not to let the Savat destroy the city, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, there's also a really deep love story in there. That's obviously very Romeo and Juliet.
Mhm.
Um, and and it ends poorly but beautifully.
Yeah.
Um, but so it just really resonated for whatever reason, and that's the one that leaps to mind.
Okay. What are
As far as
the DVDs?
DVDs, oh, that's I don't know which one is worse. Oh, let's see. Can I use Lord of the Rings as one? Um,
You can have the original trilogy of the Fellowship, the Two Towers, and
okay,
the King
thank you.
Returns as one choice.
Okay, I'll take that.
Just like the original Star Wars trilogy is one choice because that is the Holy Bible.
Absolutely. That was going to be my second choice, so
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and then third, to get some horror in there, Event Horizon.
Rest in peace, Sam Neill.
Yes, excellent, excellent
Yeah.
actor.
Yep.
I just rewatched Jurassic Park in his honor for the nine
Yeah.
thousandth time last night.
Yep.
So,
Come a long way, bro. So what are you
all
thinking
right.
about for assets?
Oh,
What do you got mentally involved now that I've put you through a nightmare scenario about
right.
your actual in life assets?
Here we go. Chapter 7.
Yeah, there's a bunch of examples. Like a knife is an asset, a gun is an asset.
Well, yeah, you would definitely have the fighting blades.
Okay,
So it depends on, I guess, which war we're talking about, but uh, we'll go with like the short bladed knives. The like, I really like the ones that they use in the Villanova movie. The like kind of more diagonally.
sure.
Yeah, I like that blade.
Yeah,
And then uh, need a little bit more organization in this book.
it's not
I will,
terrible.
I will be. No, it's not terrible, but I just like.
Like
chapter.
White Wolf is fucking terrible.
Oh, I mean, there's no consistency from.
Page XX.
Oh, yeah, Page XX. Like, editing is not their strong suit. Um, especially going back over
Mhm.
it. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
I like. I like that. I'll take a Ridulian crystal.
Okay.
So the knife, the Ridulian crystal.
What does the Rejulian crystal do for those of them that
So
don't?
yes, basically it is a book, but compressed into
Mm.
uh, molecules thick.
Yep.
So you get multiple. Um, yeah, a single volume of a book with an excess of thousands of pages would literally be like a teeny, teeny, tiny
Yep.
crystal. So this thing can hold multiple amounts of data, and
Okay.
knowledge is power, and all that.
Yeah. Makes sense. Just
You can't be a good strategy and a good right hand man if you don't know the good classics.
yeah, the art of war.
The art of war, etc. Yeah, you gotta know your enemy. Um,
Yep.
no, no. I'll take a poison snooper.
That is a good one to have.
Nope.
Poison Snooper. All right. Now you get to pick an ambition for your character. Where
Okay.
where do you see him? Is he a minor house? Is he one of the major houses?
I think he would be a minor house.
Okay.
But like trying to aid his house in becoming one of the major, trying to claim a planet of their own.
Okay.
Um, and start playing with the big boys eventually.
Sure.
Um, and that uh, I kind of see him as the house would be in like a I don't know one of the. Tell me if I'm wrong. There's obviously the big like our oh my god I said Atreyu. I was just watching Neverending Story. Uh, Harkonnen,
Yeah.
etc. Is every other house like a direct liege vassal to the big like Carino the
So House Carino and the Emperor's Seat is part of what's called the Landsrad, and that's a collection of the major houses. Each major house has allegiances to minor houses underneath them. One of the interestingly enough, given where we grew up, one of the minor houses, canonically is called Galloway.
oh cute.
So that could fit. There's not a lot known of it,
I'll
so
take it.
we can do a lot with it as a blank slate.
Who are they under?
You tell me. This is your character.
Oh sure. Then Harkonnen.
Okay.
I
Harkonnen.
think the so Harkonnen reminds me of though obviously they're more depraved in the books
Mhm.
than what I'm about to say. Kind of like Slytherin, whereas whereas in the movies and the books, obviously almost every Slytherin is a psycho or a baddie or something or just a jackass. But a lot
Mhm.
of for instance, going into Harry Potter, but Harry almost got into Slytherin because of ambition and drive, and it's not necessarily always a bad thing.
Right.
Um, and that's kind of where I see my house, and my liege lord. He's definitely Harkonnen, liege lord. Like he falls into that ecosystem, but he's trying not to be the psycho level of like Vladimir of
Yeah.
Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah. I like it.
So still power, still ambition. Like we're not taking shit from nobody, but we don't have to be complete psychopaths about it.
Right.
Um, if we have to be, what must be done must be done.
Means justify the ends.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But we don't. I'll say in this particular instance, we're going with cruelty doesn't have to be the point, which is a lot of what Harkonnen seems to enjoy way
Yeah.
too much, or
Yes.
the main house.
I'm gonna write that down on your character sheet. Actually. absolutely doesn't have to be the point. So yeah, so what would you imagine your character's ambition is, and what is your character's name actually?
Oh, I do have. Let's see.
Uh, ambition is basically like a long-term goal for yourself. It talk about it a little bit on page 123 and how it
Okay.
relates to each of the drives. Uh, it's kind of like V5's vampire ambition versus desire, where desire is like can change night to night, but ambition is like where do you see yourself in the first arc getting to?
Right. Yeah, like the overall
Yeah.
move towards it. I like Krasimir.
Okay, spell that for me.
Sure. Krasimir.
Okay, I was gonna add an extra S. I'm glad I asked.
Um,
I like it.
yeah, apparently Harkonnen take a lot after Eastern European names and
Hmm.
stuff in the books, so that's where I pulled that from. Um, anyway, definitely gonna be about duty. Um, I think my character would try in the long run. Um, obviously, he wants to be the best servant he can to his liege lord and protect
Hmm.
him. But he also wants to help the house grow into the potential that he knows that his lord can be. You know, like he believes that the universe would be a better place, like if my lord was under the emperor. You
Yes.
know, and if we can get that far, awesome. But one step at a time.
Yep. Yeah, of course. Okay.
We'll go with that.
So given your choice of Liege House, uh, let's say that we find Krasimir at the cusp of the handoff between House Harkonnen and House Atreides right before the events of the first movie.
Yeah.
Uh, so a lot of the action on Arrakeen has been packing things away, moving things around. Uh, where do we find you on this day in particular?
So I would be organizing the house's business with the say the major domo of the house, I guess, or
Hmm.
organizing the logistics of the people and the moving.
Hmm.
Um, and definitely making sure that our soldiery is keeping a firm watch. We don't want as much as the Atreides are taking our stuff and taking over. We don't want any tricks, and we don't want them jumping the gun. Um, but at the same time, we also don't. I don't want. My lord would not want any of our more enthusiastic members who hate Atreides a little too much for their own good,
Hmm.
leaving behind stuff that would sully my lord's name in the process. Like treachery is fine, but not when we're supposed to be honor bound by the emperor at this point. Right? It's too
Right.
open.
Right.
It's too obvious. Like that, of course, they would think we would do that.
Yeah, of
Ugh,
course. The
unworthy at this point.
the wide view is through the window out into the vast uh dune sea of the desert world of Arrakis. But as we follow an ornithopter, uh, swinging from one side to the other, we use that momentum to kind of come around and look back into the room. It's just you and House Galloway's major domo right now. There are three other chairs set aside though for the rest of the entourage that would usually be at these meetings. What does Krasimir look like? How do we see him?
Well, I think he would be
It is
in
him, yes.
yes, it's him. A typical kind of Harkonnen fashion, more pale than most um beings, but we've hung out on Arrakis for a bit. So we've got a slightly more color than we would otherwise have.
Mm.
So it's like say a light tan, a very light tan, such that we no longer burn in this ridiculous sun. Um, that just seems to wither all life.
Yep.
Um, and other than that, he would have. uh, go with a military crew cut,
Hmm.
um, black hair. Go with uh, gray eyes. Like stone, like kind of like a stonish gray.
Okay.
Um, rock like granite.
I like it.
Um, uh, kind of a hockey nose, but a strong jaw. Um, well built as a soldier should be.
Mhm.
Um, he would be dressed in his semi-formal wear, I think, at this point, as opposed to full-on military dress.
Okay.
But because we're still in official mode, like we are doing our duties, we would not be in casual mode. Um, so call it a military like nice shirt, but not like a oh, man, I don't know how to put it, but the like a well pressed shirt, but not like full button down or anything like that,
Hmm.
or and not fatigues or anything akin to that or armor, but just something that you could move comfortably in, and should some shit break out, and that would not get in your way. And so like that, long sleeves and long pants, even in this heat,
Yeah.
mostly to protect from again the sun.
Yeah. I get you.
Military boots, like a big black jackbooted boots,
Mhm.
whatever, however you want to put it, with a steel toe because that's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and he'll have his knife at his side, just kind of casually. Um, uh, I think that would be better. He'd probably be looking over data pad. No, not data. Do we have data pads? No, it's all Mentat stuff now, right? And
Yeah.
parchment. And
I mean, there's still like holographic projections of
right, yes.
oh.
So yeah, he'd be looking over like the manifests and
Mhm.
where we're at in the progress of moving the house off
Yeah.
planet.
Yeah, you can see where your house is expected to kind of like fit in into the Spacing Guild ship when you have to leave by and things like that. Um, there will be a moment when you're talking to the major domo and the side of your face, the side of his face, you see kind of flashes, uh, an orange and red, and then you'll feel the reverberation against the window, the outside. But you will see an ornithopter just kind of has exploded and started to fall down to the the landing pads beneath you. Um, if you've seen that it has exploded, so there's no real need for you to roll, but the game does give you an option of rolling whenever something is a gimme, uh, a kind of what they call a difficulty zero task, because difficulty in this game is the threshold of successes you need. Because if you, for every success you get over your threshold, you can bank it as momentum. Or you can bank it or you can use it immediately otherwise. So,
Right.
um, if you would like to make out what happened, you could roll to see what you can pick out of that. Like you saw that it exploded, so it's gonna be a difficulty zero situation. So you don't have to roll, but you can if you want to start to earn some momentum.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. So it's gonna be an understand roll. What drive do you think you want to pair with it? Because this could, for me, it could either feel like duty or truth.
I was thinking the same. I want to find out what happened and make sure my liege lord's interests are not affected here.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go with truth for now.
Okay. So you're gonna click understand. Gonna ask you what to pair it with. So you're gonna hit truth. It'll ask you under roll 20 if you're doing anything else. You're not at this point, and then it should roll.
Two. It says how many dice? Two, right?
Yeah. Well, that's
Oh,
if you're
two.
adding dice. Oh, okay. Never mind. You got it. You got one success and one failure. Was not a natural 20 though, so you're safe. So things you can do with momentum, just so you're aware. For 1 to 3 points, you can buy an extra point, an extra die for your next roll, or you can obtain information. For each point of momentum the player spends, it allows them to ask the game master one question about the current situation. So you could bank it if you want to use it later, or you could use it to ask a question.
I'll make it.
Okay, perfect. The major domo rushes to the window and looks out. What does he look like? When we get a kind of over the shoulder of your perspective of him, um, what kind of man is this?
I think he would be. Go with if he's a mentat, just to kind of put the picture in line.
Sure.
Um, and I would say he's. I think in the Villanova universe, or and I don't know here, but it has that like lip thing.
Hmm.
I can't remember if that's in the book or not. Well, the line on the
Yeah, it's
lip. We'll go with that.
from the sappho juice that they drink.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
their
So we'll do
lips
that.
become tinted with it.
Yeah, I remember that all their lips do, but they in the movie anyway, they have like a. I think both him and Duncan. No, not Duncan.
No, not Duncan.
I forget his name. Anyway, but they both seem to have like a specific line on their lip. But anyway, doesn't matter. He'd have, I'm gonna say, well kept hair, long, like in a back pulled back in a ponytail.
Mm.
And he'd be dressed in higher end clothes for sure, but still functional since it's like a moving day. Um, he's not in like formal dress or anything, or formal attire. And he'd be, he's a little short or a little below average, like say 5'5" ish.
Yep.
Very skinny, um, but with um, like he seems to like possess an almost preternatural awareness of what's going on around him, though. Because he's constantly like and he's got he's doing the mentat thing and he's just processing constantly. Um, to make sure everything's in order. To give we'll go with brown eyes,
Mhm.
and kind of an alkaline face, um, and big ears, just because it's funny.
Okay. Yeah. But he'll go to the window. He'll turn to you. Did you see that?
Do we know if that was one of ours or another minor house,
No.
or
The bit of coloring that I can see shows it to be a Harkonnen flyer. This won't this won't bode well for us. So this came down in our district.
of course it did? Um, all right, I will take a squad and go find any survivors and to see if we can determine anything from the wreckage.
And
Um,
he goes back to the table. He wipes his hand across it, and the hologram vanishes. Like the sand just falls.
Okay.
I will
Okay.
tell the
So
others.
yes, please keep an eye on our Lord, and make sure his guards are at. I'll do the same. I'm sure we have radios or whatever.
Mhm.
Dispatch a command to make sure they're at double readiness because this obviously is not a good thing, and we might have Fremen or other insurrectionists uh, in our midst or being active since we are at a vulnerable moment.
Close.
All right, and grab a few guys and head on down.
Yep. And you will see that the ornithopter came down right at the edge of the landing field that you've been given. Nobody was hurt. None of your ships were damaged. There's a couple of pieces of debris that are scattered around on its path down from where it was to where it crashed. No survivors. Um,
But is there a roll or something we can see if it was like hit by it was internal malfunction? Well, obviously, first, is it on fire still?
it is still on fire. Yes.
All right, let's get that taken care of
Mhm.
first.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There's people
is
coming over with jets.
okay. So once that is done, pull the bodies out, get them situated, um, and then look at the debris field and see if we can figure out what happened.
The moment they put the fire out, there are no bodies to be found.
Interesting. Is there a Do these things have like a serial number or like a ornithopter number on them to show where it came from, whose this is?
They would normally. This one's been scrubbed.
Ah, the plot thickens. Um, okay.
The Harkonnen colors do look like uh they're not shoddy or makeshift. Like they are. This is a Harkonnen vessel.
Okay. Um, and no bodies.
Nope.
Interesting. Are there witnesses to the crash?
There's a few soldiers that are the ones that are helping to,
Okay.
excuse me, put out
Did
the
anybody?
fire. Shut
Yeah,
it down.
I'll ask and see if anybody had saw anybody jumping. I don't even know if you can jump out of an ornithopter, but assuming if somebody escaped or got out.
The consensus is no. They
Okay.
just they heard the explosion. They looked up and the thing was already crashing.
Do we know this is where I forget the line between tech and obviously thinking machine. Can
Mhm.
this thing fly? Can you fly ornithopters remotely?
It is very borderline to Tleilaxu technology. And there's no there's no need for that kind of remote controlled access unless the ship was going to be overburdened with uh cargo, which is not.
Right. I'm just trying to see how if there was nobody in it, how it was flying over our airspace.
Mhm.
Oh, so maybe does it have a flight log or like a black box of any kind?
It does.
All right.
It does actually.
Then let's grab that.
Yep. Yeah, they grab it for you. They pull it out.
All right, so I'll order my guys secure the scene. Um, uh, I'm sure they have cameras, obviously, or image capture devices, and
Yep, of
let's capture what the scene looks like for our forensic guys, because I'm sure we have some.
course.
Um, and but most of all, I want that black box, and I'm going to personally escort it back to base, and um, let's see what it tells us, because obviously, without bodies, this becomes doubly a mystery as to where the frack this thing came from, and the fact that it was scrubbed.
Hmm.
Oh, so this is clearly somebody trying to hide and or make us look like failures somehow.
Hmm.
or potentially a failed attack on our base, which is even more worrisome.
Yeah.
Oh,
But you go back to the communications area, the little depot that you've been given, and there's already been like a workstation opened up for you by the time you get there, and there is an eager young girl uh, with just a set of tools laid out and just nods her head in respect. Sir, I was told that you needed somebody to uh, look through the a black box.
it's truth. And I hand it over to her. What is your name?
My name is Tristana.
Hello, Tristana. Yes, we need this sorted through ASAP. Obviously, we may or may not be under attack, and that is unacceptable. So we need to know.
Of course. Is this something that requires privacy, or can I just openly view the?
Hmm. Let's take it to a private location inside the communication area, somebody's office or whatever,
Yep.
um, just in case.
Okay. Of course. And she goes over to what you know is a supervisor, one of the communicators in charge. Points. He points to you, points to the box, and immediately kind of like nods and points. Um, and she swoops back over, grabs the box, and he's like, "We've been allowed to use room 3 for us, sir."
Excellent.
Um,
That's good.
and she goes and she starts tinkering with the box, attaching it to the view system, attaching it to her workstation, typing away, tapping at the ear for the invisible keyboards. And you will see that there is a series of dates, uh, just a list from it activation to the last flight log, and then she starts to narrow down to the last day that this thing was used. And it shows that it was used earlier in the morning twice, and then it shows that uh, there is no name. Like it is just a blank spot where the name would be. And then it shows a couple of minutes ago, takeoff cleared from the main Harkonnen landing pad. And then again, the name is not existent, but it shows that it was allowed to land in the Galloway landing pad.
So, when you say the name was blank, that was like the person that was flying it, or the name of
Yes.
the plane? Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, because every time
Oh,
that it's logged, there is a pilot attached to it.
okay. So someone's clearly trying to cover their steps.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I turn to Tristania.
Tristana.
Tristana, close.
Yeah.
Oh, in terms of Shauna, is there a way to find out if the log has been altered or somehow this person is overriding, or is there like a override log or somehow this has been hacked? Because obviously that blank is not supposed to be there.
Correct. Yeah. I could try, but if it's somebody high up in House Harkonnen, I I won't be able to get through whatever protections they've put up.
All right. Well, please try. And
I
let's
I
see.
have an
Let's see. Where we're at.
associate in orbit who has space guild uh clearance, but
Be very useful.
that uh that might bring undue attention on the situation.
Fair enough. Let's see what you can find out first, and if necessary, we will use your asset.
Of course. And she just starts to get to work.
So I'll leave you to it. I'm going to go check on our forensic guys to see if we can see a cause of why this fell out of the air.
Of course, I will send word if anything uh, manifests itself.
I give her, whatever my code frequency or however
Yeah,
they talk to one another,
yeah,
and march on back to the scene.
yeah. You will see that there's already people like all over this fucking thing, and one of them uh, suddenly like shoots up into a standing position and starts to back away.
That's
And
never
huh?
that's never a good sign.
Yeah, and they start to call the others away from the scene. Uh, and there's a moment where you will see something kind of sparking, and then what looks to be a disembodied hand, kind of like thing from Wednesday, just kind of like crawl up onto the the dashboard and then just collapse. The lights inside of it die out slowly.
Light side of the hand, slowly, or the
The light, no, the lights in like the robotic lights inside the hand die out.
okay.
Yeah,
So
and a
okay,
bunch of the people there, you can hear them whisper Tleilaxu.
gotcha. Sorry, I had way too much flesh in mind versus
Mm-hmm.
robotic.
Yep, yep,
I know that there are flesh well, they're
there are,
golems, but the
there are.
people that mess around with flesh and biology and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
so I was like, oh, it's
there's
gonna be one of
zombie
those.
forces.
Yep. So I was like, oh, goody, it's gonna be one of those.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's I don't know which is worse, but let's go with the evil thinking machine. Not good.
Yeah,
Uh, all right. So obviously secure that. And I ordered the text to do so.
yeah.
Um, but somebody get a box and lock this thing away.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. They get a like a little Faraway Faraday box.
all right. Well, that is a whole new twist.
Mhm.
Um, and that I think is something that requires, at the very least, my Lord's Major Domo's attention.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll take care. I will take custody of the box and bring it personally over there.
Okay.
This is starting to be above my pay grade with thinking machines.
Yeah, for real. Uh, when you get into the the room that you were talking to the major domo, like the kind of ready room, as it were, the action room, um, the war room, to throw it back to Doctor Strangelove, because there's no fighting in the war room. Uh, you'll see that the mentat is sitting across the table from what looks to be, from your recollection, one of the lower, kind of minor, not lined, like they don't have a claim to the house in any way, but they're definitely one of the major players in the Harkonnen kind of chess game that the
Okay.
family plays. Uh, just a very unsettling man. Uh, do you know who Doug Jones is?
Yes.
Okay, so Doug Jones, a bald, stretched, maybe like a an extra like quarter uh of an inch everywhere. Like he's just a little bit extra stretched. Uh,
Okay.
bald, white skin, like Casper white. Uh, no eyebrows, no facial hair whatsoever, no hair anywhere on his body. His fingers are just steepled. His wrists are at the table. And when you come in, he just kind of slowly, painfully slowly turns in your direction. And when he smiles at you, it's almost like a feral animal. He's smiling at you. But his voice is soft, very much in juxtaposition to what he looks like to you, and the aura that he gives off. Uh, but he looks at you, and then again, slowly, his left hand kind of motions to the seat next to him, and then it'll come back so that his wrist sits on the table again, and his fingers are steepled. Swordmaster Krasimir, join us, please.
Person by his rank, I'm assuming I would know.
Yeah, yeah,
And then just kind of give him a nod of recognition and go ahead and sit.
yeah. He outranks you only because he's in the liege house, obviously. Uh, but like, if you were out on the street, you could take this guy. He is nothing to you, but because he's attached to House Harkonnen, um, and he is favored by several of the people in line to take over the house, he enjoys a bit of the weight that he can throw around.
Yeah, more a
Uh,
political heavyweight than a
yeah,
martial one.
yeah, yeah. But he again smiles and is a asset of ours was taken. It has been found here. Your mentat has told me that you put yourself in charge of this situation. What can you share with us?
From what we can tell, I put the boxes very carefully on the table.
Mm.
This was in the ornithopter. No, is it ornithopter?
Ornithopter?
Yeah, yeah. I got and may have been controlling it because there were no bodies found in the site, nor did anybody see anybody ejecting or leaving, or it crashed. And I open the box and show the thinking machine.
Okay. He looks at it
Uh,
and his eyes kind of widen and then they slowly come back down. Uh, and he'll turn to you. Who else saw this thinking machine?
the crew who recovered it, obviously at the scene, and after that we put it in a box by no one else.
I want them all brought to me, please, at your earliest convenience.
For what purpose?
To make sure that they don't share what they have seen.
They are my crew. I would not see them harmed simply to suppress information. As long as I don't understood, I don't have a problem with you interrogating them.
But if they were to be harmed, you would have an issue with how House Harkonnen does its things?
No, in the regard of as long as it is necessary. Ease is not necessity.
I am torn by your commentary, Swordmaster. I was under the impression that House Galloway was loyal to House Harkonnen.
We are loyal. We also value our assets.
I,
We are not wasteful.
I hear
And
dissidence in your voice.
just stating a concern for my soldiery and my people,
Mm.
who are
Tool-
also of Harkonnen.
Tools require regular attention. They continue working.
I do not disagree. but they don't need to be destroyed simply because they become inconvenient at the moment.
Uh, I will acquiesce to your request.
On my head and I say, "Thank you. That is all I ask." In furtherance of trying to find out what happened, do you know anything or can you share anything about what this is and how it got into one of our craft? I also tell them that the thing was scrubbed. We don't know who operated this thing as of yet.
His hand slowly kind of reaches out towards the box, um, and it just very much just kind of like lands on top of it and slowly brings it to his side of the table. He's like,
I let him.
"This will be examined by trustworthy and loyal subjects to the house. If any information is deemed necessary for your investigation, it will be shared."
I would expect nothing less and appreciate the cooperation.
He stands up, and whereas the mentat next to you is shorter than you, this guy towers over you.
That
And he has his hands just kind of like on either side of the box. Uh, it doesn't look like there's any pressure there, uh, but you definitely see that the tips of his fingers have kind of curled in. They're holding the edge of the box. The thumbs um, look flexed. And again, he smiles that unnerving smile of his. "I shall wait for your crew in my quarters."
as you wish.
And then he starts to, doesn't step, like you see that he's walking. Like you can see his feet are walking, like they're one moves in front of the other, but his gait does not wobble. He does not like go up or down. It's just a glide.
Hold on, please. Being interrupted by a wheel. Oh, please.
Oh my god! In the most creepiest of scenes, you get interrupted. These people not understand what is happening. I'm building a theme here, a mood. I gotta talk to Anne, bro. She's slipping.
Seriously. Oh. He
Letting
wants water. I'm like, what? Hey, really? Interrupted for that?
just letting children run around the house unattended.
How dare she? Oh,
Incredible.
no respect. Oh, yeah. Okay, so creepy dude gliding, not
Yep.
really walking so
Yeah.
much.
But after he leaves, the mentat doesn't say anything. Uh, but he does point at the table and kind of brings his finger up. The gentleman from House Harkonnen came unannounced. Otherwise, I would have warned you of the joy that we would have had in sharing our space with them.
Oh, yes. Much joy.
He was thorough. He inspected the room, as one would expect someone of that caliber to do, and was quite complacent with the offerings. His body language is definitely telling you that this guy came in and did some fucking spooky shit. and would not be surprised if there was like bugs in the.
Gotcha. Go find mommy or go to bed.
Yeah, yeah, that's the answer right there. That's the
Really.
answer.
Most days, if I'm just doing nothing, they'll leave. They don't even look for me.
No,
And then, of course,
no,
since the door is closed, it has to be bothered.
has to be.
And this
Father,
Brandon is actually pretty good. The fact that he only does, Leia's doing exactly what he did at his age, her age. You know, oh, daddy's got to close the door. What's
father,
happening? What's happening? Father, father.
I cannot see you clearly, father. Are you alive?
I've forgotten how to get water. I don't know how
Yeah,
to get water.
yeah. Hold my
How does one
hand,
get water?
father. Yeah. Must I go to the well? Yeah. Uh,
Funny enough, we have a well.
I,
Um,
given what you've told me about your house, bro, I'm not surprised.
it's
Um,
obviously a more modern well, but yes,
sure, sure.
no head buckets here.
What's the point of having a well then, bro? Uh,
Can't
but
even throw anybody down it. Like honestly,
uh, Chad, you've seen some of these interviews already, so you know the first and last questions are always the same. So for my last question, did you have fun in our experience together today? And is this a game that you would want to play in the future?
I did, and yes, I'm very interested. I look forward to the future where we get to play again, or I get to play, and hopefully with you.
All right. Yeah. Dune is definitely one of my favorite systems. Modifius in general is very, very good. I need to uh figure out how to set aside some cash for getting myself a copy of Octung Cthulhu because
Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That looks good.
The Modifius 320 system with Cthulhu and World War II. I'm okay with that. I'm all right about. I'm okay. I'm all right.
There's a lot of spooky Cthulhu stuff that I could see like twirling and messing with World War II and that whole
Yeah,
era.
yeah. I definitely do also want to get the Star Trek TTRPG because
I think I actually have.
I've run it on the channel and it is a lot of fun. It is much more involved than Dune. Like Dune and Octan Cthulhu are very, I don't want to say simple, but they're easier to get into.
Okay.
Star Trek, there's a lot that comes with being a part of the ship and with being on the ship and what member of the crew you are and things like that because the different stations give you bonuses to your dice rolls.
Okay.
So it's wild. It's fun.
I can imagine
Um,
that would be definitely a game that would require obviously more than just one on one.
yeah, yeah.
Generally speaking, but yeah. But that I could see like a good team crew like dynamic
Hmm.
forming and all the of course associated drama like why did you miss? Why are we hitting rocks? And you
Yep.
know,
Yeah, exactly. Um, But yeah, thank you for being a part of this. As always, I want to give you a chance to plug whatever you're into, because I know that you do have your veterinary system business, and that you're on a podcast. But where can people
um,
find you online if you want to be found?
so yeah, the podcast unfortunately hasn't happened in a while. Just scheduling conflicts. So put that aside for now. But the my wife and I, Dr. Valdez, has we opened up a veterinary clinic in Leesburg, Florida. You can find us at Perfect Paws and Claws Veterinary Hospital. It's ppcvh.com, and we offer excellent care. She is one of the, and yes, I know I'm saying it about my wife, but unabashedly say she's one of the best veterinarians I know. And I've ever heard of. And I believe you're at almost 250 Google 5-star Google reviews in
Nice.
almost a little over a year.
That's
So we've
nice.
definitely been growing, and we've our care offerings keep growing as we expand and grow with our community that
Yeah.
we're building. And we've had a good run so far, and we're hoping to grow and continue. Well, you can also find Perfect Paws and Claws on Facebook and Instagram, I believe.
Nice.
As far as myself, at Xanaficus on Twitter and Instagram, I don't really post all that much. Mostly, I do. If I'm putting anything, it's mostly likes and reshares of cool art that I find. Um, just because again don't have, unfortunately, a lot of time these days to just sit around and pontificate on various things that is happening. Unlike say 10 or 15 years ago, where I would be on top of multiple things going on,
Yeah.
and probably
All the soapboxes.
all the soapboxes and picking fun arguments just because it was fun to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no time for that or whatnot now.
Nope.
Um, but yeah, it's I don't have as large a digital footprint as I would like, because I do enjoy being on the podcasts that I've been on, being on the games that we've done,
Mm-hmm.
and but hopefully all in due course. The kids will not be young forever, fortunately or unfortunately,
Yep.
so that will free up time eventually. Um, and yeah, hopefully I can run on the business more on autopilot than it is now. Obviously, it's in its infancy still,
Of
but
course.
but yeah, it's all in due course. I don't mind, putting some stuff aside to address other things while still occasionally getting to do stuff like this. It is a release valve of
Yeah.
sorts.
100%.
Um, and I do love discussing such things with you and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that I got to know you a little bit better, and that the question I thought was going to be the most heartbreaking was heartbreaking, in fact.
It was, oh, you would be to the quick.
But as always, thank you for being a part of this. Thank you to the audience for joining us for this. I hope that you guys enjoyed our little foray into Dune, and that this is a game that you might want to pick up in the future. As always, we take mental health on the channel very seriously. So if you're watching live, there are phone numbers going up in our Twitch chat. They'll be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube at your leisure. But just in case it gets defunded or more bullshit happens because of RFK and his Make America Unhealthy Again crusade, you can always go to findthehelpline.com to find the resources in the area nearest you. Simple drop down menu, couple of clicks, and you will be well on your way to getting the help that you need. So don't be afraid to take that first step. It is a scary step, and sometimes we think that we can handle things on our own. Do not be afraid to reach out for help. It is there, and just know that it is always available for you. You just have to be the one to initiate it. As always, just in case you were unaware of where we stand on the channel, fuck Donald Trump, fuck RFK, fuck Israel, protect Palestine, protect the dolls, trans rights are human rights, Black Lives Matter, and I always feel like fuck AI. That's the one that I keep forgetting about. But otherwise, please be safe, take care of yourselves. If you cause good trouble, keep an eye out, protect each other. And we will see you when we see everybody. Have a good night. Bye.